Welcome to ICEF Monitor. I'm here with Maksim from TravelWorks. Your agency has offices in Russia and in Kazakhstan. You spend a lot of time in Kazakhstan, so you're an expert on the Kazakhstan market. Let's talk a little bit about Kazakhstan. The numbers have doubled in the last 5 years of students going to study abroad from Kazakhstan. But 8 out of 10 students are going to study in Russia. What are the reasons behind that?
Well, first of all, thank you for welcoming. Yeah, that's true that the numbers of students traveling from Kazakhstan to different countries is growing rapidly, and you're quite right that country number one where these students would go to would be still Russia. Country number two will be China, and country number three will be Kyrgyzstan. But no matter, even not considering these three countries, the number of students going to other countries is increasing as well. The reason that is behind the standards that students mostly would travel to Russia is that the proximity of the country and of course the prices on tuition fees and costs.
In the past, also China has been a major market for students coming from Kazakhstan. Is that still the case, or how do you see the development there?
That's a very good question, because I personally was studying in China for half a year. I'm not a Kazakhstani citizen. Yeah, I'm a Russian citizen, but our country is present in Kazakhstan for 3 years. We're actively working there. But at that time, back that time, there were lots of Kazakhstani students there studying with me. But now there are still lots of people who want to study in China, but the number is a little bit lowering because they're focusing more on Western European and Western and North American countries. So Canada is growing very much in popularity these days. We can see lots of more and more students switching their span of attention from China to North America, and to be particular, of course, to Canada, due to a number of political, economical, and visa regulations.
Let's talk about what students are studying and what programs they are looking for. What are the most popular programs for Kazakhstani students?
That's quite a difficult question for me actually to consider, because we don't follow the statistics of the programs, the special programs. But lots of students are going for undergrad programs, so they're choosing different kinds of pathway programs, and later they specialize on different things like design, like management, hospitality and tourism. So I would say these three would be the top three ones.
What percentage of students are self-funded, and how many go on scholarship in approximately?
I would say that more than 70-75% would be self-funded. But by self-funded, I mean also those who are funded by their parents, because most of the students who are going from Kazakhstan studying abroad are students who just graduated from high schools. So yeah, they're funded by their parents. As for scholarships, I would say that it again depends on the countries. For example, in North American countries, especially in the US, most of the Kazakhstani students would receive scholarship, ranging at about 15 to 20 or 30% of their tuition for a year. And the thing that stands behind is that Kazakhstani students are highly motivated for education and for forming their career in a foreign country or when they're back to Kazakhstan. That is why they're very self-determined, and they get scholarships based on their academic figures, academic numbers which they scored at school and during their studies at the universities. By the way, that's a very interesting fact that most of Kazakhstani students after graduation they would return back to their country. This is what is very different, for example, with comparison to other markets in which we are present in Russia, because in Russia most of students would go and stay there at that country for a particular number of times depending on the visa regulations, but in Kazakhstan about 65-70% would get back to Kazakhstan right after graduation.
Thank you for watching the first part of ICEF Monitor. Stay tuned for part number 2.